Hello and welcome to our sustainable journey. I am Steve. Today we're going to talk about winterizing the farm. Weather's turned. Hopefully it's not too windy today and you can hear me. Weather's turned. We actually had snow earlier this week. I mean, like flurries, like nothing collected or anything like that. The corn is still up, so that's going to be harvested probably soon. We want to show you all the stuff that we get ready for winter out here with the animals and with the house and everything else. So for the bees, we did a couple different things. One is you can see they're all strapped down to either the boards that they're on, the cinder blocks, something to kind of hold them in place because it gets incredibly windy, as you can feel today. And as soon as that corn is gone, it's going to get even windier. There's like a tunnel that runs through here, and the wind just picks up and would either knock them over or knock them around, and then snow would build up. So I'm going to be putting a snow fence on the other side of them probably in the next week, to protect them a little bit more from the blowing wind. And then if you look closely, I'll show you on this one, we put mouse guards. So there's that little metal doodad at the front of the entrance. It's called a mouse guard, and what that does is that prevents mice from getting in. The bees can still get in and out and do their thing, but mice can't get in, because what happens in the winter is that becomes a nice warm ball of bees, and they keep that whole area warm, and that's attractive to mice. And so as soon as that corn comes down, the mice are going to come, because that's basically where they're living right now, is because there's plenty of food for them out in the corn. And so once the corn is gone, the mice will start infesting things, and so we want to make sure the bees are all protected. So we screwed those in place on all the hives. So what do we have over here? 9 over here and the 3 over there, so we have 12. We did lose one a couple of weeks ago. I'm not sure what happened. Either they absconded and left, or something got to them, but they were gone. The other thing that we did was we pulled all the honey supers off, and anything that's left on there, there's at least 1 super of honey. Those 2 were really small, they didn't have enough, so we're going to probably be feeding them over the winter. But the rest of these have plenty of stores of honey in them to keep them going for the winter. You also need to pull off your queen excluders if you have them, because if the ball of bees moves up to the food, the queen can't go up and she will freeze to death and die. So you want to make sure you don't have any excluders on for winter. So, but yeah, it's a nice day. It's actually 75 today, so the bees are out flying and whatnot, so getting the last little bits of nectar that they can. And then the other thing you need to do in the winter time is when it snows, you want to brush off the entrance to make sure that there's no snow buildup, because that can cause problems. So you need to have some sort of airflow in your hives. So yeah, so that's what we did for the bees. Now we'll take a look at the cows. All right, couple things for the cows. So we have this last bale of hay that we left out here for them to chow down on. They've eaten down all the grass. It's going to be covered in snow anyway, so we figured we'd let them have the last remnants. We're going to let them into the garden area and finish off any vegetables or plants or whatever that are still in there, probably in the next couple of weeks before it gets too cold. And then I'll start feeding them out of there. We'll close this area off and just leave them those 2 pastures to roam. There's not going to be a whole lot of food for them once snow hits the ground, but they'll have their bale feeder. So we still have plenty of bales. And then we can take down this fence, because the girls like to sled on this hill because it's fun. So that's their food situation for the cows. The water situation is a little bit tough because they are outdoor animals, and outdoor water freezes. And there's a couple different solutions. One of them is to put a board, like a 2x4, in their water trough, and that 2x4, what they'll do is they'll push down on it with their nose, it'll break through the ice because it won't freeze up usually, and that will allow them to drink. The other is to get an immersion heater thing, and what that does is that keeps it warm. So we have power running to it here, so we can get a heater in there without a problem, because they go through a few gallons. You can see this is just today. They've gone through a few gallons of water out of this trough. I think this is a 50-gallon, and they've already gone through 5-10 gallons of water today alone. So we need to keep water flowing. Normally in the summertime we have a hose running to it, and a float valve, so that keeps it at the right level when we turn the water on. It's just off right now, so we'll have to pull that hose in, put it into the barn, and then every day bring it out here, refill their water, make sure that they've got plenty of fluids. So that would be a daily, either once a day or twice a day task of making sure that they have plenty of water. The pigs are only going to be with us until December, but we need to make sure that they have plenty of water. So they've got their water basin right here. We clean this out and fill it up with water every day, and then they've got here this is where we keep their feed, and then we just pour it in their feeder there. So they're probably hungry. You hungry, guys and gals, and gal? And we got the two boys and the Missy. She's the one sitting down. They are messy. So usually what we'll do is we'll get some bales of hay to block the wind. This was all blocked, but they decided to break through the walls because, you know, they're pigs. And so they broke through all the walls. The previous set of pigs that we had broke that window. So that was kind of a fun evening trying to fix that while they were chasing me. But yeah, I'm not gonna bother repairing it because they like going through there and stuff, so it's fine. It's their house. And we actually got in trouble, well, not in trouble, but our vet was kind of upset with us because we give them so much space. So you can see they have this whole area, and we had him out here to take a look at them, and he was able to do it without actually grabbing any of them, because he's like, how am I supposed to grab them? This is too much space for pigs. You're giving them too much land, and that's kind of that's the idea, is to give them as much land as they feel happy with. But that's not normal. You're supposed to keep them penned in an area that's, you know, 6 inches by 6 inches or whatever. So yeah, garden's all done. So we'll get the cows in here to clean up the rest of that. We'll pull out the cages and all the other stuff, and let them chow down what's left there. In the chicken coop, so we usually, their waters, we have 2 waters now. We'll probably add a 3rd water for winter, because right now in the summertime there's plenty of sources of water out here. Sometimes we put heaters on there. We probably don't have to, because this barn is actually heated. And then the other thing that we do is we give them lots and lots of bedding. We let it fill up over the winter time, so it develops. It's probably 3 or 4 inches deep by the time spring comes around, because we just keep adding bedding. And that way they're insulated from the cold of, because it's concrete, you know, so it gets cold. And that way it's soft, they've got something to scratch, and then we can throw feed in there and they can still scratch in the winter time. They come out, but this way, you know, if they want to stay inside, if it's especially cold and they don't feel like coming out, they can stay inside and still scratch and whatnot. So yeah. So that's the chickens. Chickens in the coop, they're currently locked in because we have some new babies in there right now. So you want to keep them locked in there for a couple of days while they get used to their new home. So we have them locked up. They've got heaters in there because it's outdoor, you know. So we've got a few of the heating plates, as well as the ones that we had from the chicks. So there's heating pads there. and then their water is also heated. But we've never lost a chicken to cold, so they're pretty hardy animals. So that'll be the chickens. Now for the humans, what we've done is we have a wood burning furnace. And so we need to do some maintenance on that this weekend to get it going. But what we've done over the course of probably the last 2 weeks is cut wood. We've taken some trees out of the woods, so all that woods that way is ours. This is ours, and then back behind the workshop and everything back in there, that's all ours. So we pull any deadfalls or trees that have died or whatnot, we'll pull those out, and that will be our wood. So I'll show you that. All right, so here's the wood burner. So we have a bin for the ash. So what you need to do every year is replace the seal on this door. So that's what we're going to be doing this weekend, is replacing that seal. It's basically like a piece of rope that goes around it. And we need to flush the system, make sure it's all good. There's no sludge buildup or anything like that. But this is the wood. So we've cut up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 totes worth. That obviously needs to be cut down a little bit more. But we just have them ready here so that I can take the tractor, move this one close to the burner, and then we just load it up. And then what we've done, because once the leaves are off the trees, it's really hard to tell what's dead and what's not. So we drew, because we're planning to do some building in the next year or so. So I don't know if you can see it from here. You can see the orange ribbon. So that area needs to come down. So if we need more trees, those are the first ones that can go. And then we walked around in the woods, and there's certain trees that are pretty obvious that they need to come down, and there's other ones that are not so obvious. So the not so obvious ones, we tied a ribbon around so that in the snow and the cold and whatnot, we can still find them. So you can see some of these. So orange ribbon is trees to be cut down. Okay, so it's dead, so this one can be cut down easily. I mean, there's other things, like if you just look, there's, you know, you can see a tree that's half down, so that's easy to pull out of here. If we run out, there's trees that are on the ground that we can pull out, and our woods go way back, all the way down. You still can't see the end of them, but essentially there's a drop off, and you can see there's actually more trees down there, and then there's another drop off beyond that. So we have plenty of wood for us to keep us warm. Now the pink ribbons, that's a fun little side project that we're going to try this year. So these are maple trees. So there's one here, there's one there, there's like 10 of them over there, and there's a whole bunch more out there that we haven't marked yet, because we want to see if we can make maple syrup this year. I think that'd be kind of fun. We have the trees, and it would just kind of be an interesting thing to see. So we'll post a video about that once we start, but it takes something like 50 gallons to make 1 gallon of 50 gallons of maple sap to make 1 gallon of maple syrup. So we'll see if that's even a possibility, but thought that would be a fun thing to try. So we'll see. Last but certainly not least, the plow. We'll get that all cleaned up and hooked on the Jeep, because the driveway is a mile long, and when it's covered in snow you cannot get down our driveway or up our driveway or any of that stuff. So we plow it ourselves because we have to. We have no choice. So that gets hooked on the Jeep here. We'll get that hooked up, make sure everything operates properly, and then we'll be ready for winter, hopefully. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed. We will see you all next time. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you're new here. We have all kinds of stuff going on here at the farm, between the animals and the... oh, well, that's not good. And the worms. So stick around for more stuff. And of course, I can't forget my favorite part of winter, and that is hunting season. So this is my view. Basically 360 degrees of woods, and we've seen a couple deer, a couple turkey. Nothing worth getting or doing anything with, but I've been my wife gave me a list. We need a turkey for Thanksgiving, and we have room in the freezer for at least one deer. We got the pigs getting processed in December, so probably just one. We've got plenty, so we'll see what we can see.